Hello, everyone. In today's episode, we're going to talk about sleep habits, sleep hygiene, and the low-hanging fruit for you to make the most out of your recovery. Please enjoy.
Welcome to the Perfect Workout Podcast, where fitness meets simplicity. I'm Kyle Recchia, CEO of The Perfect Workout. I'm joined by Jim Keene, our Director of Training. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. All right, welcome to episode 10. Today we're going to talk about everybody's favorite subject, which is sleep. That's right. And we're going to get rid of the quote-unquote hero badge of, I only slept 4 hours and then crushed life. And so I'm better
Got
than
up at
you.
4 o'clock, drank a jar of urine. That's time to eat nails for breakfast.
That's right. So we talked about this in the last few episodes. We're going to go into some good tips today. I think the cool, important thing about the tips around sleep is that the ones that really, really work are free or close to it. So Jim, when it comes to recovery and when it comes to that, again, that 80-20, the thing that matters the most, why don't we dive into sleep? Why don't you tell us a little bit about sleep, maybe some things we don't really know, maybe some preconceptions that you should get rid of, and then get into some of the hacks here.
So in the general sense, sleep can be understood in our 3-step process. It's part of step 2, the recovery step. It's actually also involved in step 3, the adaptation, producing the result, because everything you want from exercise is produced during sleep, supposing that you did it right. And so the idea when you think about sleep is kind of like in step 1 with the exercise, the active ingredient is the contraction with the muscle, the quality of the contraction. So with sleep and recovery, the active ingredient, it's sleep. If you're a normal kind of person, and let's say you lived to age 90, you will have spent something like 30 years asleep. So it's got to be important, right?
Right.
If it could be done away with, evolution would have done away with it because we're, of course, vulnerable to predation. Predators can find it. But sleep is bad for us.
It's not helping the survival side, unless it is.
So it has to be so good that it gets maintained. If somebody could sleep 2 hours a night and survive, they would have had a competitive survival advantage and we would be their ancestors. But we're descended from those who needed 7 to 8 hours a night. So we know it's important because biology has retained it. So next I want to talk about the idea of hygiene. When you think about hygiene, you think of brushing your teeth and showering and soap, cutting your nails. Hygiene, a good definition for it, is that without which the system would break down. It's not that you're working steadily towards super teeth or super clean pits or super smell. Well, I am, but normal people aren't. My pheromones aside, the purpose of hygiene is so that it doesn't degrade whatever the system is that you are maintaining. So sleep is the same way. There are certain things you must do, and you don't get super sleep. But what happens is if you fail to do these certain things, if you fail to perform your sleep hygiene, things start to break down. So some things about sleep hygiene. Timing is arguably more important than amount, than quantity. So we have this cycle that happens. Our biology runs in a cycle that is about a day, circa dia. You could call it a circadian rhythm. It's like a rhythm, but it's about a day. It's like circa 1 day. Like that's a circadian rhythm, to coin a new phrase. So the idea is, how does the body know what time it is? Well, it can sense from its environment. And the way it senses, the primary way, is from the sun. It also uses temperature, but light is the primary thing. In fact, in the research, the thing that happens in the morning, that starts the morning, is called the Zeitgeber, the light giver. Zeitgeber. Get to the chopper, the Zeitgeber. Get the sun in your eyes. So Arnold knows about starting his day. Yeah, this is your last day on the podcast, by the way. We'd like to ask you politely to leave. So the idea is, in Ocean's 11, when they all synchronize their watches and they're like, all right, let's all synchronize watches. This happens at this time. You do this at this time. You do this at this time. That's exactly how it is for every gland that you have. You get light in the morning. That's how sleep starts. Light in the morning from the sunrise. The Zeitgeber. It's the first thing that happens that coordinates all the glands in your body to do their job when it is the time to do their job. So that's the first thing that happens. And if you think about what we want to happen in deep sleep, all the wonderful hormonal releases that we want to happen at 1 or 2 a.m. in deep sleep, those, and we're talking about growth hormone, we're talking about testosterone, progesterone, estrogen, so much happens overnight to aid recovery. All the We'll talk a little bit later about the glymphatic drainage from your how your brain cleans itself during deep sleep. That all is the end result of a process that starts 16, 17 hours earlier. So as soon as the sun hits your eyes in the morning, doop, timer starts. And then if you honor your circadian rhythm throughout the rest of the day, finally you get the payoff in the middle of the night. But it started when you saw the light in the morning. Now, if you don't see the light in the morning, you'll still get some of that. Like, it's not an all or nothing. It's a very robust system. We're very adaptable, but this is how it works. And so the first thing is the timing, the circadian rhythm. Part of the circadian rhythm is when you go to bed. When should you go to bed? Well, a couple hours after the sunset, basically, is the answer. If you stay up later, the problem becomes all that good stuff I mentioned, all the things we need to have happen for our body composition, for our mental health, for our lower inflammation, that release of hormones at 1 to 2 at night. It only occurs if you have been asleep for 2-3 hours at least at that point. If you go to bed at 1 a.m. and you wake up at 9, you've had 8 hours of sleep, but you missed out on them. It's like the 3-point competition for basketball at the All-Star game. The 3-point competition, you have the Moneyball and the regular. So I used to tell clients, every hour of sleep you get before midnight, that's a Moneyball. That's worth 2. Every hour of sleep you get after midnight, that's worth 1. And so 10 to 6 is not the same as 1 to 9. Completely different, even though they're both 8 hours. Timing matters almost more than quantity, if you think about it like that. Now, it's not literally like that, but it's a good model to use. So how do you do it? Okay, Jim, I'm going to go to bed a couple hours after the sunset. And so is that it? Is that the whole thing? Sunlight in the morning and go to bed? That's the start. That's the low-hanging fruit. Next, some sleep hygiene over how to get the best possible sleep. So there's a couple things, and you've probably heard a lot of these, but these are all in one place. So first, it should be a pitch black room. You should have blackout curtains. You do whatever you need to do to black out the room, and you don't have any night lights. You don't have any lights from TVs or phones or anything like that. Pitch black room.
Yeah, isn't there a study around like a small blue light or something like that on the back of somebody's leg or?
Yeah. So they were testing melatonin release, and they were trying to decide. They knew that exposing someone to light at night restricted the release of melatonin. They would measure it in someone's blood, and less had been released into the circulation. And they found that shining, I believe it was a green light at the back of someone's knee with like a little pen light, caused a statistically significant reduction in the release of melatonin later that night, which is insane.
So when you say dark room, you don't mean just cover your eyes with a mask. You mean a dark room.
Yeah, a dark room. Yeah, it should be pitch black. If you open and close your eyes, you shouldn't notice any difference. Next thing, you got to sleep cool. The research is really clear on this. And the sweet spot seems to be around 67 degrees, 68 degrees, something like that. Your core body temperature drops when you sleep. And it's only at these lower temperatures that your body can perform certain processes. So it can't do that if the room is too hot or if you're covered up too much. So that is a requirement for a lot of these things.
And let's throw up a flag here. This is one of those things that if you're going to spend some money on a device, which we talked about earlier, this is a good place. It can be challenging, depending on where you are in the world, to get your room cool enough. But luckily, there are a lot of cool devices out there, ChiliPads, fans, all kinds of things.
Yeah, BedJet.
Yep, BedJet, to get your room and your body cool enough. So if you're going to spend some money and you want to hack something, this is the place to start.
Yeah, I'd rather have someone do this than buy some supplement they saw at a conference or heard about. So yeah, spending money to invest in your sleep, it's a third of your life. So money invested in sleep is money well spent. The next thing, so you got a pitch black room. It's very cool. It happens after a couple hours after sundown, and you see the sun in the morning. Paradoxically, something else that helps sleep is daytime sunlight. Now, a lot of people, we mentioned melatonin. Everyone sort of, the limit to their knowledge on melatonin is that it's the sleepy night hormone, and it's just that dark time. And so, true, but it's released from the pituitary, but it's not built there at the time the lights go out. What happens is you have ocular melatonin. Sunlight hits your eyeball during the day, and melatonin begins to be produced in the eye hours and hours and hours before it's released later that night. So if you fail to get enough daylight, enough sunlight and daylight in your eyes, starting at sunrise and through the day, it's like pulling back your bow. If you only pull it back this far, it only shoots that much. If you pull it back, much more forceful on the other end. So the more melatonin you can build ocularly, it travels backwards. And yes, it's released by the pituitary gland. But that's not, or maybe it's the pineal gland. Am I getting that backwards? You have to fact check this. We'll fact check this. We'll correct it in the notes. So it might be pineal. I think I messed up. Anyway, the point is one of the P glands. And so you want to get daylight. It helps your sleep is the point.
And if somebody's going to just get started here, right? People are busy. Some of them work in a cave, stuff like that. Again, what's the 80-20? Like how much
Shout out to the bears listening.
That's right.
I'm working
how much should we focus
so
on
in this case?
Just to get started in the morning, how much time do I need to spend outside before I can get my day started?
If you can get daylight for 10 minutes in your eye, great. And it's a non-linear effect. So it's the small hinges swing big doors thing. So 1 doesn't equal 1. A little bit has a great marginal utility. So going for 20 minutes isn't twice as good, but it still is better. 30 minutes and so forth. So that first 10 minutes, if you can stay longer, and more is better, but there's diminishing returns, even though there are returns. So 10 minutes daylight in the morning, you just need to let your body know what time it is in the day.
And same, if you can take a lunch break, and even if it's 20 minutes and you can just sit outside in the sun, this thing's going to be exponentially better than, well, I can't do it, back to episode 2 or 3 here, perfectly. So I'm not going to adhere.
Yeah. And then another really important thing regarding sleep, and probably one of the big prime movers, low-hanging fruit, no glowing rectangles for as long as you can stand it before bed.
You just lost everybody.
Yeah. So glowing rectangles is a catch-all. Mine's a square. So what happens is your body responds to light signal. When light hits your eye, it tells your body what time of day it is. Our phones, our iPads, our televisions, all of our glowing rectangles we know and love emit a light that spikes in the blue range. And without